Namaste, angels. I'm here to do the weekly general reading from Sunday, June 25th through Saturday, July 1st, beginning with the month of Tammuz and www.chabad.org. Tammuz is the fourth of the 12 months of the Jewish calendar. The month of Tammuz begins with the quote-unquote season of the summer. The 3 months of this season are Tammuz, Av, and Elul. The 17th day of Tammuz, a fast day that commemorates the day when the walls of Jerusalem were breached by the Romans. This happened in the year 69. So that number making a grand reappearance this year. Those of you who've been watching me for the whole year that I've been on know that for me and in my teachings, last year was year 69 for us of these 70-year cycles. In addition to that, 69, when I see the symbols, can represent for me flooding, and I've foreseen floods and hurricanes like the last time that Louisiana was flooded last year. I had foreseen that with this symbol, but also represents the sign of Cancer, which we are now in. From it, their symbol is a 69 on its side, at least in my opinion. So that's interesting. Anyway, it marks the beginning of a period known as the 3 weeks. This is an annual mourning period when we mourn the destruction of the Holy Temple and the cause of our current ongoing exile. It reaches its climax and concludes with the fast of the 9th of Av, the date when the Holy Temples were set aflame in the year 423 BCE and 69 CE, respectively. Because of this and numerous other tragedies that occurred throughout Jewish history during this period, we lessen the extent of our rejoicing during the 3-week period leading up to it. Why the excessive mourning for more than 2,000 years? Well, God is our Father, and we are his children. And during Galut, G-A-L-U-T, which means exile, we constitute a dysfunctional family. We've been expelled from our Father's home, and our relationship is strained. This is certainly not the way the relationship should be, and this wasn't always the case. There was a time when we were coddled by our Father's embrace. His love for us manifested itself in many forms, including miracles, prophets, abundant blessings, and a land flowing with milk and honey. At the center of our relationship was the Holy Temple, God's home, where he literally dwelt among his people and where his presence was tangible. All the suffering that's been our lot since the day the temple was destroyed is a result of our exiled state. This is why we mourn the destruction of the temples. We believe with perfect faith and pray that the day is near when we will be returned to our Father's home and once again feel his love. We look forward to a brighter future when the world will finally reach the culmination of its purpose and be infused with everlasting peace and goodness. So that's what we all want. And that's why we're here, actually, the true children of Israel, children of God. What else is going on this week? Well, on the 29th, it's the feast day of Saints Peter and Paul, the apostles. And this could potentially be important because this is the day that's recognized not of their birth, but of their death, of their martyrdom. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that too. From www.franciscanmedia.org, the solemnity of Saints Peter and Paul. Solemnity of Saints Peter and Paul, Saint of the Day for June 29. Saints Peter and Paul's story. Peter. St. Mark ends the first half of his gospel with the triumphant climax. He has recorded doubt, misunderstanding, and the opposition of many to Jesus. Now Peter makes his great confession of faith. You are the Messiah. This happens in Mark 8:29. It was one of the many glorious moments in Peter's life, beginning with the day he was called from his nets along the Sea of Galilee to become a fisher of men for Jesus. So he had been a fisherman. He became a fisher of men instead. The New Testament clearly shows Peter as the leader of the apostles, as the apostles. I think that that's because the books of Mary Magdalene and of Mary, mother of Jesus, are missing from the Bible. They are absent. They do exist. They've been found. And I think that Mary Magdalene was the leader of the apostles, but that's we can continue. Peter is recognized as the leader of the apostles in the New Testament. And he was chosen by Jesus to have a special relationship with him. With James and John, he was privileged to witness the transfiguration, the raising of a dead child to life, and the agony of Gethsemane. His mother-in-law was cured by Jesus. He was sent with John to prepare for the last Passover before Jesus' death. His name is first on every list of apostles. It goes on. And to Peter, only did Jesus say, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my heavenly Father. And so I say to you, you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of the netherworld shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." Matthew 16:17 through 19. But the Gospels prove their own trustworthiness by the unflattering details they include about Peter as well. He clearly had no public relations person. It was a great comfort for ordinary mortals to know that Peter also has his human weaknesses, even in the presence of Jesus. He generously gave up all things, yet he can ask in childish self-regard, what are we going to get for all this? That happened in Matthew 19:27, which equals 19, equals Father. He receives the full force of Christ's anger when he objects to the idea of a suffering Messiah. "Get behind me, Satan. You're an obstacle to me. You're not thinking as a God, but as humans do." This happened Matthew 16:23. Peter is willing to accept Jesus' doctrine of forgiveness, but suggests a limit of 7 times. Like we shouldn't be forgiven more than 7 times. He walks on water in faith, but sinks in doubt. He refuses to let Jesus wash his feet. Then he wants his whole body cleansed. He swears at the Last Supper that he will never deny Jesus, and then swears to a servant maid that he has never known the man. He loyally resists the first attempt to arrest Jesus by cutting off Malchus's ear. But in the end, he runs away with the others. In the depth of his sorrow, Jesus looks on him and forgives him, and he goes out and sheds bitter tears. The risen Jesus told Peter to feed his lambs and his sheep. John 21:15 through 17. Paul. If the most well-known preacher today suddenly began preaching that the United States should adopt a Marxism and not rely on the Constitution, the angry reaction would help us understand Paul's life when he started preaching that Christ alone can save us. He had been the most Pharisaic of the Pharisees, the most legalistic of the Mosaic lawyers. Now he suddenly appears to other Jews as a heretical welcomer of Gentiles, a traitor, and an apostate. Paul's central conviction was simple and absolute. Only God can save humanity. No human effort, even the most scrupulous observance of law, can create a human good which we can bring to God as reparation for sin and payment for grace. To be saved from itself, from sin, from the devil, and from death, humanity must open itself completely to the saving power of Jesus. Paul never lost his love for the Jewish family, though he carried a lifelong debate with them about the uselessness of the law without Christ. He reminded the Gentiles that they were grafted on the parent stock of the Jews, who were still God's chosen people, the children of the promise. Reflection. We would probably go to confession to Peter sooner than to any of the other apostles. He is perhaps a more striking example of the simple fact of holiness. Jesus says to us, as he said in effect to Peter, "It is not you who have chosen me, but I who have chosen you." Peter, it is not human wisdom that makes it possible for you to believe, but my Father's revelation. I, not you, build my church. Paul's experience of the risen Jesus on the road to Damascus was the driving force that made him one of the most zealous, dynamic, and courageous ambassadors of Christ the church has ever had. But persecution, humiliation, and weakness became his day-by-day carrying of the cross material for further transformation. The dying Christ in him, the living Christ, was his life. St. Paul is the patron saint of the country Greece. It doesn't say of what St. Peter is the patron saint. And from Wikipedia, it says the feast of Saints Peter and Paul, or the solemnity of Saints Peter and Paul, is a liturgical feast in honor of the martyrdom in Rome of the apostles Saint Peter and Paul, which is observed on June 29th. The celebration is of ancient origin, the date selected being the anniversary of either their death or the translation of their relics. And so this celebrates the fact that to be a martyr means to die basically by persecution, to die for Christ, to die for your beliefs in God. So that's what happened with them. And we can go to the sky now. That's all that's happening in the spiritual realm that I'm aware of, that I can think of right now. It will continue to be Eid through the 27th. So in Islam, Muslims will be celebrating for the next few days. That's still going on. And the sky this week. Beginning tomorrow, June 25th, look high in the northwest after darkness falls this month, and you'll be greeted by the familiar sight of the Big Dipper. The Dipper is the most conspicuous asterism, a recognizable pattern of stars that doesn't form a complete constellation shape. In the entire sky, it forms the body of the tail of Ursa Major, the Great Bear. Use the pointers, the two stars at the end of the Dipper's bowl, to find Polaris, which lies due north of everyone north of the equator. Polaris marks the end of the Little Dipper's handle. On June evenings, the relatively faint stars of this Dipper arc directly above Polaris. Monday, June 26th. Observers of the outer solar system get their first good views of Uranus before dawn during June. The best time to look for this planet is shortly before twilight begins, around 3:30 a.m. local daylight time. Uranus then lies 20 degrees high in the east among the background stars of Pisces, the fish. This morning, use binoculars to find the magnitude 5.8 planet 1 degree north and a touch west of 4th magnitude Omicron, Pisceum. A telescope reveals Uranus's blue-green disk, which spans 3.5 inches. And I'm just going to point out quickly, the 20 degrees is an 11, of course, and the 5.8 is an 1111. Tuesday, June 27th. The typically minor June booted meteor shower occasionally reminds us of its presence. After decades of inactivity, the shower produced up to 100 meteors per hour in 1998. It then returned with about half that number in 2004. Although astronomers aren't predicting an outburst this year, veteran observers know that the only way to be sure is to actually watch the sky. The shower peaks before dawn today, and conditions should be ideal with the waxing crescent moon setting well before midnight. The meteors appear to radiate from a point called the Radiant, located in the northern part of the constellation Bootes, the herdsman. This region remains above the horizon all night. The waxing crescent moon lies just a degree or two from 1st magnitude Regulus this evening. The two appear closest from the east coast. The separation grows farther the more west you live. Wednesday, June 28th. For people who live near 35 degrees north latitude today marks the latest sunset of the year. Although Earth's summer solstice and the Northern Hemisphere's longest day occurred last week, June 20 or 21st, latest sunset happened several days after and earliest sunrise several days before. The specific dates depend on your latitude, however. Latest sunset at 40 degrees north took place yesterday. In general, latest sunset occurs closer to the solstice the farther north you live. Thursday, June 29th. Magnificent Saturn reached its peak just 2 weeks ago when it appeared opposite the sun in the sky, and our view of the ring planet remains spectacular. It is on display nearly all night among the background stars of southern serpent bearer, hanging in the southeastern sky as darkness falls and climbing high in the south by midnight local daylight time. Saturn continues to shine brightly too, at a magnitude of 0.1. When viewed through a telescope, the dramatic ring system spans 42 inches and tilts 27 degrees to our line of sight, while the planet's family of moderately bright moons appears next to the gorgeous world. Friday, June 30th. First quarter moon arrives at 8:51 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You can find the half-lit orb in the southwestern sky as darkness falls, and then watch it sink toward the western horizon throughout the evening hours. It sets around 1 a.m. local daylight time. The moon lies in a central Virgo, just a few degrees to the right of brilliant Jupiter. Saturday, July 1st. Tonight affords viewers a nice opportunity to track down Pluto. The distant world passes just 4 feet due north of the 8th magnitude star SAO in northeastern Sagittarius, making the task of finding the dwarf planet much easier than usual. This star, in turn, lies 2 degrees east-southeast of 3rd magnitude Pi in Sagittarii. Pluto glows dimly at 14th magnitude, so you'll need an 8-inch or larger telescope to spot it visually. See In Pursuit of Pluto in July Astronomy for complete details on finding this world. And lastly, Sunday, July 2nd. Although Venus reached its greatest elongation from the sun a month ago, it now rises earlier and climbs higher in the east before dawn. It rises at 3 a.m. local daylight time and stands 18 degrees above the horizon an hour before sunrise. It's hard to mistake the inner planet for anything else. At a magnitude of -4.2, it shines brighter than any other point of light in the sky. When viewed through a telescope, Venus shows an 18-inch diameter disk that appears 63% lit. And they mentioned Pluto. I think that reminded me, Pluto and Neptune, the only planets remaining in retrograde. Oh, I think Saturn's still in retrograde too. Yeah, believe so. Pluto, Saturn, and Neptune. And I'm thinking there's another one. Might be Uranus. So we might have that going on too. Plus they just mentioned some other things happening with not only Pluto, but also, yes, Uranus. So be mindful of that. Going to the dice. I'm beginning with yes. Cocktail. And stay in bed. Oh, Spirit says sex. I saw Pan a few times as I was shuffling the cards in advance too. Eat cake. That may or may not be part of sex, depending on what people are into, and the terms they use. And try again. And on that note, Spirit says no. Going to the Keepers of the Light Oracle, beginning with Lady Venus. Downloads and understanding. Truth is being revealed. Deep insights are coming from heaven and the astral realm. Opening to Gaia, Earth connection. Be mindful of the planet. Come back to Earth. Stay grounded. Lady Venus. Opening to Mercury, open communication. Get a weight off your chest. Speak up with love and be heard. Now, Mercury is in Cancer and Lady Venus is conjunct with Pluto right now, that favorable conjunction. That could be why the two of them are showing up here. Lady Venus back. I'll go one more, and it's White Eagle, Ancestor Spirit. Connect to your lineage. A family wound or pattern can be healed now. This may have something to do with our actual families, our blood relations, but it can be taking us back to that story, about the history of the children of God, and be about our larger family and that wound that can be healed, since this is a time of that being the month of Tammuz. We may need to think, on a larger scale. Coming to Odin in Psychic Insight. Your third eye is open. See the truth for what it is and follow your intuition. And the overall energy for this part of the reading is Bridget, inner strength. Move back into wholeness. Recognize that you have the power. The feminine's feelings with regard to herself, under my hand here. Kathumi, cloak of wisdom. You already know the answer you seek. Trust what you know. So this is about us doubting our intuition and guidance not to do that. We already know what it is we're seeking, and we just have to accept that. Sometimes we do that because we doubt our intuition because it's like convenient. It's easier to say, well, maybe I'm wrong, and so we can just avoid making an ultimate decision or taking action or something like that. This not the week to do that, apparently. The masculine's feelings with regard to the feminine this week. This is the general reading again in the general sense. Mercury, open communication. Love it. Get a weight off your chest. Speak up with love and be heard. So we may be hearing, some of us, from our divine masculine, maybe heart-to-heart conversations, something that he's been wanting to say, good, bad, or indifferent. He didn't know how you would take it, so he held it in, and it's time to let it out. And it's the perfect time, again, with Mercury in Cancer. I believe all month Mercury is hanging around opposite the Cancer sun. I believe so. In some cases, the feminine will be the one to reach out. The masculine will be equally as receptive to that, where you might not expect it and then be surprised. Don't go in with any expectations, though, or requirements, right? It has to be unconditional, this contact. So don't be expecting him to answer, but some of you may be very, very pleasantly surprised. The masculine with regard to himself in relation to the union this week. Serapis Bay, ascension. Move into true self. Rise above the darkness. The light is here. So he's conscious about the fact that he's becoming more conscious, about the fact that he's going through more growth and ascension this week. Expanded elevation. And the masculine's feelings about the union as a whole this week. Horus, cosmic gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. One of the changes is the open communication. Like it's a milestone is what I'm hearing. Like the masculine is recognizing it as like a milestone that we can finally talk about certain things that we weren't able to before, Actually, we were always able to. We felt that we were not able to. That was fear. That was fear. That was ego. So through the growth and ascension, he's released a lot of that. And that's why this is like, he's marking it off as, this is like a special time where we can really come together. And maybe the feminine is more receptive too, with this cloak of wisdom in her already knowing. You already know, what's in the masculine's heart as well as what's in your own, So anytime that we ignore the fact that we do, sometimes that's our fear and ego, where we second guess or question. We know what's at the basis and at the root of these unions. Overall, Master Jesus, forgiveness. Didn't I just talk about Jesus and forgiveness and Peter limiting the forgiveness to 7 times? Thank goodness with the actual Master Jesus, that forgiveness is infinite. And so he extends it to us every time that we call on him and in truth ask for it, right? It has to be in truth. Jesus knows when we're being genuine and when we're not. And then he teaches us and empowers us, emboldens us even to be able to extend that, similar forgiveness to one another. And so that's what we're guided to do here. You're on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father healing is possible at this time. And this is also connecting me to the larger point, maybe, in the dysfunctional family that I just read about that exists between us and our Father in heaven. We can heal those relationships now. I'm getting a similar vibration from it that I got when I picked up that, white eagle card with the native gentleman on it. Outcome. The Miriam. Sacred vision. Choose to forgive. Okay, forgiveness at the head, forgiveness at the root, right? At the crown, at the feet. Choose to forgive in order to heal. See the light in all. Right here it says that the masculine is here. The light is here. See the light in all. Remember that love has no boundaries. It's infinite. We're not limited to 7 times with Jesus. This goes on forever. What would the masculine have the feminine to do or surrender toward the union or bringing everything together this week? Facing fear. Major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. So just like I was just saying, it's a milestone for the masculine because he recognizes, at least in himself, and I bet in us too, that we've reached a point where that we hadn't been able to before because of this fear. Now we're strengthened and able to face it and extend the forgiveness and to communicate like grown folks, as they say. What is the masculine willing to do or surrender toward the union this week? Mary Magdalene, teacher awakens. You have something important to share. He wants to talk, and it's important. He needs to talk. Follow the inner call and don't let anything stop you. So he's going to get this weight off his chest with the power of Mercury. Mary Magdalene encourages him not to be limited by anything or anyone. What would the universe have? I love how both of Jesus's vibrations are here, and also how he's like sort of mirroring his divine feminine. What would the universe have the two of us to do or surrender toward the union this week? Kuan Yin, care and compassion. Choose to be love. Do what you know is right for everyone involved. Even offer a helping hand. Wow. We got here. The feminine coming into like a really strong self-awareness with this cloak of wisdom and acknowledging that she already has the answers, that she can pay attention and trust her intuition, trust that inner knowing, that claircognizance that she has. We have the masculine ready to get a weight off his chest with this energy and power of the planet Mercury. And it sits here all month, I believe, again, like I said. So he's got some time, but he's planning on doing this week. And Mary Magdalene says, don't let anything stop you, masculine. I'm feeling for some, what may get in the way is the ascension, like lessened strength and being tired and things like that. But I guess they'll work that out and find the right time for them to come forward and do this. They also have Horus here, leading the way, opening the path with the cosmic gateway. Changes are occurring. Overall energy, forgiveness, and Master Jesus, letting us know that we're on the right path. Just continue to extend, beginning with ourselves, this forgiveness, and then to others. At the outcome here, the Miriam, this very twin and dual energy of like Gemini, but Gemini or 2, and that duality also represents faith and represents relationships. So this being a very powerful message too, and reminding us that we all do have this strength to forgive, and that it is infinite. It does not run out. So we should choose to forgive in order to heal ourselves and to help others to heal. Definitely seeing the light in all things. That goes perfectly with the month of Tammuz, the good that is of good and the good that's born of, what we would otherwise think is bad and negative. Finding the good and the light in all situations and people and beings, and remembering that love has no boundaries. We're facing fear here as the feminine, masculine, confident in us that we can do this. They have something to share that's very important. And maybe in moving the collective along. Looking forward to hearing from the masculine individually and as a collective body. And Kuan Yin comes through to guide us both on both sides, masculine and feminine, to extend and exercise some care and compassion, and to literally be love. Which right away that brought to mind the Bob Marley song, Could You Be Love? And be loved. There's like a difference. Are you capable of this? Kuan Yin says that we all are. Wow. Awesome. Which brings me to the Angel Tarot and the Two of Water, a relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness, yet again, and the positive resolution of a conflict. But opening to the Seven of Air, the Joy Stealers, plans any revision. More going on than meets the eye and poor timing. Two of Water. Opening to the Queen of Earth, who's thoughtful, creative, warm, and sensible. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach. Deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. Queen of Earth, now opposite the Eight of Earth. Tell me abundance coming our way this week too. Being rewarded for our hard work. Skilled work is rewarded. Also, some of us learning all there is to know about a topic, maybe going back to school or something, taking a class over the summer, getting a new job or practicing learning a new skill or trade. And it's the Page of Earth now. Scholarly, dependable, patient, and successful is the Page of Earth. Good news about financial matters. Also wanting to do something more challenging. And again, maybe a new area of study for some of us. This can also be new area of study in life. Again, Horus says miraculous changes are happening. The masculine says we've reached a milestone. So this can be the school of life, the school of experience. Maybe not so much for a change, the school of hard knocks. Like, just we're beyond some of that. And ready for new beginnings, new passionate beginnings, new beginnings in creativity. Again, maybe some new jobs for some of us too. An exciting new opportunity, career advancement. Change your life now. Another meaning for that Ace of Fire can be the sex. Okay, I started the reading with that die of sex. The Ace of Fire, one of the most passionate and phallic cards in the deck, being also traditionally the Ace of Wands. So that can be an indication of some loving that's ahead for some of us. And now the overall energy is unity, or the High Priest, more Jesus, the Hierophant. Here it's with Archangel Sandalphon. Traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations. Seek out mentors and like-minded friends. Also, earth signs may be particularly impactful upon you this week. Having seen the Page of Earth, having seen Gaia come through before, now the Hierophant, all of these represent earth signs. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Queen of Earth, too. I didn't mean to leave her out. Masculine is the 10 of air, the end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. You may be recovering from an addiction, and maybe this is why he feels he's able to talk now, right? He's able to communicate now. He's beyond some sort of barrier. Maybe that's why he says that it's a milestone that he's reached. Surrounded by the Knight of Water, who's emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative, and perhaps a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, falling in love, or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions, maybe even an invitation to a social event. In the masculine subconscious, it's the moon with Archangel Haniel, also representing the sign of Pisces, but our moon, Earth's moon, actually rules the sign of Cancer. This can represent Scorpio as well, though, all three water signs. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. Okay, so masculine saying, recognizing that we're in a position now to face our fear and release our fear, but he may be also considering some residual fear of his own that he has here and letting that go in this placement. This can also more so be about him being conscious again of his ascension and his heightened psychic awareness. The feminine, the 6 of Earth, representing the signs of Libra and Taurus and the planet Venus for me. Gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan, or paying off debts. Raphael outside also. I don't know if you guys can hear the sirens. So that may be healing to our finances that Raphael is like reconfirming. And in love, this card has to do with love too. It's actually one of my favorite cards. It's about pure, like true, unadulterated, like real, unconditional love, at least in my opinion, and justice and righteousness. Surrounded by the Knight of Air, intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless, is the Knight of Air. He's also a Gemini, Aquarius, a Libra. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options so you can come up with creative solutions. And in the feminine subconscious, the King of Fire, who's motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. The King, like the Ace, is a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius, or someone taking on those traits, attributes. We're crowned by the 10 of Fire. Too much work. Accept help from others. Life is out of balance. That leads to stress-related health concerns. This is about putting down our burdens. It sits here right next to the masculine's 10 of air. It may, these two may, be joined, and they're both coming to an end. The end of a difficult situation, because he's able to put down his burdens, or because he's no longer feeling as if he is a burden upon somebody else. That whole situation over. At the root, the Empress with Archangel Gabriel, lavish abundance. Give birth to your dreams. Nurture yourself and others. The Empress also represents the planet Venus for me and the signs of Libra and Taurus, like the 6 of Earth. At the heart of the matter, the Knight of Earth, who's loyal, dedicated, honorable, and kind. Time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments. You have a guardian angel. I think in many ways that this burden and this difficult time and all of this is about finances and the material, and that coming to an end now. And maybe that being one of the things that's encouraging the masculine to sort of come out of his shell now, come out of the darkness and into the light, because he's been illuminated into the fact that his finances are improving, his material situation is improving. He can see that now. God said, let those who have eyes see. He can see that now, and so he's ready to move forward and to communicate as well. Let's see if we can get some more clarity with the Ascended Masters, beginning with clear and shield your energy and El Moria. And listen. Clear and shield your energy can certainly be connected to the 10 of air and the 10 of fire. 10 of air, particularly often about betrayal, or at least feeling betrayed, stabbed in the back. Opening to see the other person's point of view, even in protecting our energy and facing certain battles. seeing the other person's point of view, being open to that, so we can extend some forgiveness. Opening to priorities in King Solomon. Oop. Right, says thought. This for some is going to be the means of communication. And the overall energy is detached from drama with Pallas Athena. I always say when the goddess of war tells you to detach from drama, you know it's time to walk away. Atop the 10 of air, mother, wife, sister, daughter, and Lady Nada. The difficult situation can be involving somebody with whom you may be ending a relationship, even if it is a family member. Maybe detaching from drama and clearing and shielding your energy, even from your own family, is what I'm getting. In other cases, we may be able to resolve some of these issues, but one way or another, the difficult portion of the situation and this burdensome portion, or the feeling of being burdened or being a burden, all again coming to an end. We're either going to repair it or walk away from it. Atop the Knight of Water, spiritual law of attraction. You put this love out, this, energy of emotion and love and sincerity out. That's what you're going to get back. Atop the Moon, energy healing. This in connection to your new psychic healing and the ascension, your DNA being repaired by the universe. As that's doing, remember, you have to clear and also shield and protect it. Here atop the 6 of Earth, where we need to be open to both giving and receiving. Peace offering. Okay, white buffalo calf woman. So we have to be willing to take hold of the olive branch, but also to be the one to hand it out. Feminine. Also, for those of you who haven't watched me before on my channel, when I pull the peace offering card, whenever I pull it, somebody dies. And it's usually people, celebrities, for one thing. Sometimes it's some sort of global issue as well, or like national issue. And then there's people like surrounding the collective, like on the outsides of the collective, and maybe this week affecting the feminine and or females. So I gotta say that, unfortunately, all the time. Atop the Knight of Air, which can be here with his sword to cut away at something, that we no longer need to hold on to. Kuan Yin is back. She was here in the other spread. She's back telling us to let that go. Go ahead and slice that away. Maybe cut it out like a cancer. And atop the King of Fire, find blessings in your current situation, says Krishna. Maybe that's why we have to get refocused here, guided to get refocused in our subconscious. Here atop the 10 of Fire, teacher. So this is the School of Hard Knocks coming through here. This is the experience of life on both sides. Lessons learned and being let go. Here, crossing Kuan Yin and let go. Atop the Empress is choose peace. And I'm getting that this is, again, your mother, or maybe the mother of your children on the masculine side. The feminine This can be a female with whom we have a relationship to heal too. And in some cases ourselves, we're going to nurture ourselves. That's what we need to do. And choose peace in like all of our dealings, beginning also with ourselves. The heart of the matter atop the night of earth is yes, says Ganesh. So we're as those where those monetary difficulties were concerned, where there were obstacles to your finances and your material abundance and wealth, Ganesh knocking those down. He is saying, yes, you figured it out. You got it right. The reason the Empress is here and the Queen of Earth came through and the Eight of Earth came through and the Page of Earth came through, all because, yes, I am removing the obstacles to your financial situation, and that will improve. Also, the obstacles that you are facing in your relationships, Ganesh knocking those down as well. And it should be, a well-rounded week. Not very sexy, at least not in this reading, but a well-rounded week nonetheless. And we'll see what the love reading has to offer by way of sexy. Although we did get sex in this reading. We can't discount that. I shuffled these quickly in my hand again. So the new overall energy is Dharma unfolding. Remember that you're on a path. Take one step at a time toward happiness. And lastly, from my angel therapy cards, I'm going to begin with visualize success. See yourself doing well in this situation and have faith in a positive outcome. And opening to indigo. The person you're inquiring about is an indigo, meaning a highly sensitive natural born leader. Visual chakra. The angels are helping you to lovingly speak your truth. Maybe this is specifically for the masculine. Or I guess it could be for us too, to respond to whatever it is they have to let off their chests in a loving and caring and compassionate manner. Throat chakra back. Vegetarian, vegan, fresh organic fruits and vegetables give you a boost of high life force energy, which elevates your spiritual frequency. I pulled this during the moon reading that I did. If you haven't seen that yet, I would suggest you do. I found it very informative, for me, even though I was the one, performing it. Vegetarian, vegan came up, and I did say there that I was feeling that maybe, at least for the next 2 weeks, that was what the angels were guiding us to do, to try to eat as many fruits and vegetables as possible. And if we can, maybe even eliminate meat. Throat chakra, I'm going to cut. Archangel Michael, you're working very closely with this powerful archangel who's protecting and guiding you through this situation. And the overall energy is Earth Angel. You're a light worker who has come to Earth to teach about love. Advice to the masculine from this angel therapy deck. Books. Your life purpose involves writing, reading, editing, or selling spiritually based books. And we did already get thought coming through here suggesting that we write and that we communicate. So masculine, for some of you, your messages are going to be in written form. For others, yeah, this does have to do with maybe writing, reading, editing, or selling spiritually based books. I just saw the teacher here as I put that card down. So yeah, it's about, for some of you, like studying up, learning more about yourself, basically. Learning about about yourself, inner self. This book can even be like a journal, like a diary, where you write about you and read about you. Feminine. Indigo is back. The person you're inquiring about is an indigo, meaning a highly sensitive natural born leader. This can be ourselves. This can be a masculine or somebody else with whom we're dealing And maybe that's why there's been a clash. Like everybody's, you know, super, super sensitive. From the Keepers of the Light Oracle to the masculine, Babaji, soul expansion. This goes perfectly with his ascension. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connections between all things. Feminine, charity, prayer, and contemplation. I think this too came up in the moon reading, and I felt that it was asking us, guiding us to pray for the masculine through his ascension, to support him in that. Connect with heaven. Ask and you shall receive. From the angels, wow, masculine, we were already on the road to, you know, wealth, it seems, with all those earth cards. And now you guys got the wheel with Archangel Michael, a time of positive change. A situation suddenly moves forward. Okay, this is why you got the 2 10s here. And fortune is on your side. You move, this is another 10. So you're moving beyond all this. 10s turn into 1s, new beginnings, right? Feminine, the 7 of air. Plans and revision, more going on than meets the eye, and poor timing, the energy of joy stealing or physical joy stealers. So we got to keep this in mind, this peace offering, and it's choosing peace, and don't let anybody force you out of your character. Lastly, from the Ascended Masters to the masculine, boom, yet again, another indication of the abundance that is forthcoming to you and to us. Retreat into nature, says the green man. Anytime the green man shows up, it is to bring a message of the fact that he is about to deliver abundance upon you. He also asks, though, that you actually retreat into nature, maybe when you want to do some meditation. Even if that meditation, it can take me back. It is taking me back to the teacher and the books and the studying. Again, in many ways, that studying and learning is about you. So just going out into nature, also like the Gaia card suggested in the first spread, spending some time with Gaia, with Mother Earth, with the green man, in just, you know, quiet time outside, listening to the birds or listening to your headphones or whatever it is you want to do, going for a jog, playing some basketball, whatever the case is. Spend some time outside, but also, you know, communing with nature, but also know that that abundance, again, is on its way to you this week, masculine. And feminine, meditate. Maybe when this energy of joy stealing or actual, you know, maybe joy stealers on 2 legs come our way, we're going to do like a big woosah again, and you know, and not let anybody take us out of our character or our pleasant mood. I hope that you guys enjoy this reading and find it helpful. Namaste, angels.